Alright, welcome back everyone. Scarland here, bringing you a new Neverwinter video. And depending on when this video is published, Mod 17 was just announced, and with it we are finally getting a new race. So on your screen now, we are on the preview server, and we're going to take a look at the new race, which is the Gith. Now, you guys know me, I'm not a huge Dungeons and Dragons lore type of guy. I'm sure content creator Nova will go more in depth about the lore of this new race. My main focus of this video is to show you guys the new race and whether or not maybe you would like to use it or not. Now, here is my issues going forward and with the Gith right now. And it's all about the racial abilities. Now, it's my own personal opinion that when they did the class balancing in Mod 16, they should have just taken all the racial abilities away and wiped the slate clean. Minus the attribute points, which we'll get into here in a second, but all of the racial abilities, every race, has different abilities, right? They should have just wiped them clean. Because in my personal opinion, there's no reason to re-roll to this new race. Especially if you're a veteran player, and especially if you're a min-maxer. So if you're going for the high damage output, or the highest healing output, or whatever your ultimate goal is, the Gith doesn't bring anything new to the table, unfortunately. It's not going to be a new best-in-slot race. At the very least, it is what it is, guys. It's a new race. Neverwinter hasn't had a new race introduced into the game in a very long time. But like I said, my problem lies with the fact that there's no reason to change to it. Now, I do believe this is going to be a free race. It's not going to be locked behind any paywall. So when you look at something like the Metallic Dragonborn that you can only currently obtain in a lockbox, or if you look at the Dragonborn, which is currently considered best in slot right now, but it's also locked behind a paywall. So it's best in slot, obviously, for the 3% increased damage. It's undeniably just best in slot. The 3% flat rate of increased damage makes the Dragonborn best in slot. So now with the Gith, if we look at their racial abilities quickly here, as far as the attributes go, they're going to gain 2 dexterity, and then you have a choice of either picking 2 strength or 2 intelligence. So this depends if you're a melee or if you're a caster. So it has the Gith Endurance. Your heightened endurance allows you to regenerate stamina 2% faster. Completely irrelevant, doesn't even matter, it's useless. And then we have the Gith Advantage. Decades of War have given you an edge in combat, granting you 1500 combat advantage. Now, combat advantage is probably, arguably, one of the hardest offensive stats to max out. Currently, as of Mod 16, you need at least 118,000 combat advantage to do Lair of the Mad Mage. Of course, it's a little less if you're just doing level 80 content, and then it's even it's even lesser if you do scaled content, such as level 70 content. But if you're doing endgame content, such as Lair of the Mad Mage, you need 118,000 combat advantage. Well, most veteran players are hitting that cap without any issues. So this race is going to give you 1500 flat combat advantage. So take that as you will. I don't see, unfortunately, the big deal about this new race, unfortunately. Like I said, this was the time that during Mod 16, when they did the class balances, they should have just completely wiped out racial abilities, or at least kind of balanced them to a point where it didn't matter what you picked. Now, some people are going to argue that these bonus for the racial abilities are so small that it doesn't matter, that you can play whatever race you want. And I kind of agree with that to a degree. But when you have something like Dragonborn that will literally give you a 3% increased damage, 3% isn't a whole lot, but it's enough to matter, and especially if you're willing to pay for it, right? Because to buy Dragonborn, you have to buy it from the Zen store, and it's, you can call it pay to win if you want, but it's definitely locked behind a paywall. It's my own personal opinion that, like I said, all of these racial abilities should have just been wiped out, or they should have been balanced during the Mod 16 revamp, because now here we are coming up on Mod 17, they're introducing a new race, and no veteran player in their right mind is going to, race re-roll their main character to this new race. I just don't see it happening. I mean, congratulations to any future bank tunes that I make. I guess, I'll roll them as gifts. But other than that, unless you're like some kind of big role player or something, hey, more power to you. And more power to anyone that just wants to play a gift. I'm not being condescending or anything. It's just if you're not a min-maxer and you don't want to spend real money to have Dragonborn, and you just want to play whatever race you want to play, then, more power to you. That's fine. I'm not knocking the developers. I'm not knocking anyone right now. I'm just bringing the factual information to you guys. And the way I see it is like I mentioned, the Gith it's not important. Which is unfortunate, because like I said, Neverwinter hasn't had a new race in a very long time. And I just don't see me personally or any other veteran player using this new race, other than making alternate characters for funsies. So yeah, female, male, let's just jump into it real quick. We'll look at it. So we got, rogue animations, cleric animations, wizard, ranger, warlock, paladin, the barbarian, and then of course the fighter. So we'll just roll a warlock, obviously. And then we will go with the 2 dexterity and 2 intelligence. And then, of course, there are some pre-loadouts already, or you can customize fully. So let's just go ahead and look at all the... briefly, we'll look at, customizing this and see what we're actually getting into here. We'll zoom in here and facial expressions, and I really like this guy here. He's kind of weird looking. It's whatever, guys. If you're into this sort of thing, if you really like the Gith, then, like I said, more power to you. So we'll go ahead and customize. Like I said, you can go in depth however much you want. Some of the hairstyles are pretty cool, but, it is what it is. I don't want to spend too much time just customizing this stuff. Mod 17 should come out on PC by August 13th, so that's honestly right around the corner. I'll doing my normal preview coverage and providing you guys with all the latest and new information. So yeah, here's hairstyles. I think we'll just rock a mohawk. You can, of course, change the color. We'll go white on white. You can change the eyes, of course. We'll go devil eyes here. Eyebrows, don't really care other than the color. We'll make them white to match. Ears, like I said. Piercings, you can go really in depth and go whatever you want. We'll roll none on that. Facial hair. Can't really see it because of my warlock outfit, unfortunately. But I think we'll go with this just because, or maybe this one, the long one. Yeah, I think we'll go with the long one. Tattoos. Little tatty tats. Nothing too impressive. There we go. We'll get some tattoos as well as scars. So you can see it's typical Neverwinter. And then you can increase whatever you want to increase. Body shape, we'll go big fat boy, even big fat boy, or we'll just go toned. And then you can do body scaling as well. So this is the Gith, guys. Not much more to really say. Like I said, you can choose to do it if you want. Me personally, obviously, as a min-maxer, I'm not going to touch it with a 10-foot pole other than making future bank tunes for storage space or whatever the case may be. I'll leave it up to other content creators such as Nova if he wants to give you guys more in-depth lore as far as Dungeons and Dragons go for what's coming for Mod 17. And we have Spelljammer. We're going to an asteroid or whatever the case may be. What's coming as far as lore goes, I'm sure Nova will be covering that. So this is just a very short video on the new race. I don't really have much more to say. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave me a comment below. Are you gonna, change your main class to a Gith? And if you do decide to do that, let me know why. Do you just really want to be a Gith? Do you not care about min-maxing? Do you not have access to the Dragonborn? Do you refuse to pay for Dragonborn? Go ahead, leave me a comment below, and let me know what you guys think. Mod 17 hype train, boys. Let's go. I'll see you guys in the next video.